Now looking at it, it's painfully clear why they did things the way they did. And it was because of the want to regulate the population. Now,
what a pathetic, embarrassing video. Initially, when I saw this video in September 2024, it was just so utterly dumbfounding I nearly went insane just thinking how some wankazoid hiding behind some dark anime VTuber avatar can just genuinely believe such deluded, cancerous fast conspiracy, merely using it as an excuse to hate and cry about generative AI. The sheer fact that her responses to critics only amount to dumbass. LMAO. Big mad. Like some clown honking his nose horn at a circus, already cements the impossibility of ever taking this troll seriously. I was thinking a lot on how to even address this laughingstock loser and her entirely ridiculous video in this video. Then so much in my life had elapsed before I could ever get the time to work on this video. The following month, I managed to acquire a new job in the warehouse industry, and that would later take priority over my ability to make any more videos until the next following year, when a certain law regarding tariffs sabotaged the warehouse industry performance and started tanking my income in that job, forcing me to eventually quit. I have since had a backlog of videos to go through before I could even get to this one again. Now I am finally here. As I have tried to rediscover the video I planned to criticize, I later discovered that she also made this video 11 months later, on January 2025, in which she apparently reveals that she does not truly hate GI as religiously as her fellow brainless lowlife cultists. Instead, I would discover that she is in some way pro-GAI.
Hello! Okay, but more than Germa's brain, you know who I want to meet? Hear Me Out and It'll Never Happen collab? Besides Nicolas Cage, Vital and Neurosama. And people might be going, huh? Because at the beginning of the broadcast I was bitching about AI. That's generative AI that scalps other people's work and is entirely dishonest. There's so much nuance in differentiation between custom-built language learning models that are built in an enclosed system, made with a data set made by one guy, not stolen from a bunch of people's like social media posts and shit, and massive image generators where it's all stolen data. Neurosama is a piece of very lovingly crafted technology done in an ethical way. And I think it is the coolest version of AI. I think it is the one good methodology and usage case. And the more good stuff out there is, I mean, the better, right? Because it's all going to happen no matter what. So instead of focusing entirely on the shit I hate, I'm going to appreciate the very few good things that are out there. And I think Neurosama fucks. And I think Vital is a little awkward, but he's got the spirit.
Here is the summary of core of Maeda's argument overall from that video. So this wench apparently wants GAI technology to be ethically pure. A tool that does not ever at all reference or scalps and steals, as she likes to call it, from others like the mainstream public tools, deeming the later tools as ugly and disgusting. Because how dare an inferior machine copy or reference from a superior human being? Only we are deemed worthy to reference from other beings and things, not the other way around. That is literally it. Now, to be fair, this is not necessarily a bad thing in of itself. If you are not comfortable using a public GAI service to generate content for creative purposes, then you may instead prefer to try offline or local-based alternatives like Applio, Dio, Retro Diffusion, etc. That is mostly my case. Although I find the features of some online tools like ElevenLabs, Fish Audio, Suno, and Meshi useful, I do not wish to rely on them. In fact, I particularly do not trust ElevenLabs or Suno since they are surprisingly quite restrictive on creativity, and literally have tried to control our right to expression with our creative efforts from their tech, even when commercially validated, by their own stupid mandated terms by paying a higher subscription tier, despite the fact that they are alone. With every other GAI company, has no exclusive right to control the copyright of anyone who prompts and generates from their service. All AIG content that has not been assimilated into an original work, hence AI-assisted, is far too transformative to ever directly secure a copyright or trademark. Correct me if I am wrong, but thus far, it appears the federal courts of all of the democratic world governments involved in GAI have determined so. This is particularly why I refuse to trust and rely on public mainstream GI services anymore. All of them of course want your money and in a scammy, leave-service subscription manner. Worse, some of them still wanna control your rights of usage and actively harass successful channels if they have not at least paid once to their scam service tiers. It is a trickster to rely on them commercially that I'd rather just take my chances with local LLMs installed onto my computer that connects to the Hugging Face GI network instead, hence Applio for my GI voice. If this is what Maedas truly wants in GI, for all of us to strictly rely on offline services and avoid the online ones with subscription tiers, then that is one thing. In that case, I am totally fine with that and strongly agree. Albeit not particularly for her reasons. However, something else tells me that may not be her true, ideal goal. Throughout 2024, there is something else I have learned from some of these particular, so-called ethical pro-GI advocates. Though their support for generative AI may still be legit, they are also against total freedom of creativity. What they honestly want is elite control of our creativerse, to limit the technology against exercising the human right to reference, create, and express works of art. They want to still be the superior artists whence the tech just serve beneath them. The GI's ability to reference as freely as any human robs these humans of their little dominator/dominatrix complex. They want to be the establishment and still be able to climb to the top of the food chain above others. It's just another aim to bring back the old times where humanity squandered and abused their skill set at the expense and disrespect of other human creators trying to make honest creations. An era where Steven supporters and Joshua Palmers can just treat anyone who is not as skilled or credited an artist as they are like a subhuman, even if they were/are paid and loyal customers. They are merely any better than the zealots who have been crying wolf about generative AI in the first place. Here is a final concern I have regarding Maeda's video is her support to Neurosummer, how she claims it is purely original, running on LLMs that do not use the ugly disgusting public ones. Well, I've decided to research more on this matter, specifically on how Neurosummer was created, and according to the owner of the tool Vidal on his own website, even he has been using public GI tools like ChatGPT from OpenAI, a laughingstock company with a service that is no longer even open source, and is also riddled with scattered woke slop in their informative/generative AI programming. If I am to take the AI results from the Brave browser seriously, it suggests that it uses Coqui TTS, 11 Labs, Google TTS, Live2D, and VTube Studio, all of which are publicly available, and most of them are mainstream tools, the very same ugly, disgusting ones. Both Live2D and VTube Studio also feature GI tools, and I doubt they are strictly from their own sacred library of LLMs that do not reference from others, no matter what any of these services claim otherwise. Limitation of reference cripples artificial superintelligence, they literally cannot survive or thrive without it. It is purely unrealistic. All of that said, my verdict on Cory of Midas, if she is even watching this. If the former theory is to be assumed and you are in favor of open-source community-powered GI tools like Applio for instance, then I guess I misunderstood you. Welcome to the GI community, and good luck in your creative journey. If the latter theory is to be assumed and you are just some human supremacist who wants to dominate GI and control transformative freedom in the name of creating yet another corrupt establishment of your own, go fuck yourself. Dual fingers. As for the rest of my audience, state your feedback in the comments. Also, for the fans and pro-GI audience only, not the Luddites, their opinions do not matter for obvious reasons. I want to know if you lot truly enjoy this voice archetype, or if you prefer that original 11 Labs voice I used in the modding video I made years ago.
For. So let's say there's some politics going on and you have an opinion.
What a
that the
pathetic,
government wants to
fugly
crack down.
clown-faced abomination.
You can and will be held liable for that. Now, let's say
A
you're
clown-faced
saying,
abomination.
Let's say there's a lot of us in Gen Z who have kind of
Okay, I can't even really get angry at this anymore.
I'm gonna go KMS,
This video is practically harmless
whatever
at this
kind of humor
point.
out there, right? Sometimes it's like
Seriously,
in
now
poor
this is
taste,
just
but
some
it
weird
means
ass
nothing.
conspiracy shit.
In context,